Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm out here in my garden harvesting this chamomile, and I thought that I should talk to you about beans. Beans is one of the things that I always grow in my garden, and people have asked me once and again, why do you grow beans in your garden? Your garden is too small, you can't even harvest a kilo to make a meal. But the truth is that beans are very versatile and they can be used for so many things other than just dry beans. Actually, dry beans is one of them, but there are so many other things you can use your beans for. So for example, my beans are climbing beans. And actually the other thing I would like to say is that I prefer climbing beans, although I do grow bush beans, but I prefer climbing beans because they produce like 2 to 3 more times compared to the bush beans, because they produce like these ones of mine. If you look at them from here, they have already started flowering and they'll flower all the way up. So what I usually do, I harvest the leaves. So that's another thing, that I eat the bean leaves. So when I grow beans in my garden, I usually focus on the leaves. And I eat the bean leaves from down here as it goes up. This one is a bit late, but I'm going to harvest all these leaves and mix with other traditional vegetables and make a meal out of it. So the reason why I prefer these climbing beans as opposed to the bush beans is that they start producing leaves all the way, and also they'll produce beans all the way. So they like triple their harvest. So get 3 times more harvest from climbing beans as compared to the harvest you get from bush beans. So the other advantage of growing beans in a small garden is that beans are so easy to grow. They are almost effortless, even if you've not grown them. Like if I look behind here, there's a volunteer bean that has grown. It's a climbing bean, but it just grew below my lavender. And it's thriving. I've not done anything to it because lavender is a low maintenance herb, and just let it be. And the bean is still doing well. I actually discovered that it also has some beans. So that's the other reason why you should grow beans. They are minimum care. They don't require you to tend them. They can do with a little bit of neglect. Don't neglect them though, but they are really, really minimum care. So beans are also very nutrient dense. As I've already said, you can use the leaves, and also you can use the green beans. You don't have to wait for beans to grow dry, and then you use them. You can harvest them when they are green and you cook them as green beans, and they give you a lot of nutrition, and you keep eating them all the way until they dry. Then you can eat the dry beans. And beans are very nutritious. They have very high proteins, plant protein sources. They have fiber, and the leaves have a lot of vitamins. So you get a complete meal from beans. So the other reason why you should actually consider growing beans is there are so many varieties of beans. Like they are so wide. They fit almost I don't know an environment that beans don't grow. Whether you are in an arid area, whether you are in a semi-arid area like myself, whether you are in a very high altitude, there's a bean for each and every altitude. There's a bean for each and every climate. And so you should grow beans. They are good for you. And beans are so nutritious. So the other reason why you should actually grow beans is you can grow beans in small spaces like I'm doing. Actually, I always grow my beans on that wall. You see the wall with strings? I grow my beans there. But this time I grew them last season there, and in the spirit of crop rotation, I have now grown cucumbers and melons there. If you watch my next garden tour, you will see them. So I didn't return beans there, and I decided to grow them in these cages where I had actually grown tomatoes. So beans are very good nitrogen fixers, and so they fix nitrogen where it's depleted. Especially if you've grown a heavy feeder, you can always grow a bean there to help regenerate the soil. So beans can grow, you can grow them on a balcony, you can grow them on a wall, you can a very small space, especially the climbing beans, you can grow them vertically, and so that is good. You can grow them in small spaces. And the other thing I've already said is they are better nitrogen fixers than the bush beans. I think because they stay longer also in the garden compared to the bush beans. Because the bush beans, once they produce the first produce, or maybe the second is less, and maybe after the third, they are gone. Mostly after the first harvest, they are just gone. So the bush beans have a quite shorter lifespan compared to the climbing beans, and that's why I prefer to grow climbing beans in my garden. So I think those are enough reasons why you should already grow climbing beans in your garden. I'm going to move and show you where I'm growing my climbing beans. I've already shown you my climbing beans. I'm now going to show you my bush beans. As I said at the beginning, I grow both types of beans for different reasons, but I prefer climbing beans. So let's go to the bush beans. So this is my bush bean. As you can see, I was growing it on a pot. So beans are very versatile and easy to grow, as I said. So you can even grow them on a pot like these ones. They have already gone to seed, and the reason why I let them do this is so that I can harvest these seeds and grow them in the next season. So my preference of bush beans are these green beans. They are usually very thin, long and soft. So I grow these ones for stir fries. So I harvest them when they are young. I stir fry them, then I let just a few, as you can see, it's just a few, to go to seed for the next season. So that's all about beans for today's video. If you have any questions you would like to ask me, or you have something you'd like to add concerning growing beans, whether you like eating beans. I know there are so many stories of beans cause acid. By the way, there are varieties that don't cause acid. They cook faster and they are good for you. So go and explore beans. They are very good and they are very nutritious, very nutrient dense, and you can do them. There are so many other ways you can use beans other than just githeri aki if you're Kenyan. Beans are not just for githeri and rice and beans. You can do bean soups, you can do bean salad. There are so many ways you can use beans. So thank you so much for watching this video, and always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. I'll see you in the next one. Go grow some beans.